straight up honest, guys. This next segment here hurts my heart in a lot of ways. As you guys might know, I'm a big Anthony Edwards guy. I have his pair of shoes. I love him. I love his attitude. Well, let me rephrase that. I loved his attitude. I love his energy that he brings. I think he's great for the sport. I think he's so fun to watch play basketball. He hasn't been the Anthony Edwards we were expecting this year. I've talked about this briefly, but we talk a lot about the Timberwolves sort of being this disappointing team to start this season, and he absolutely has been they have been a disappointing team, and a lot of blame gets placed a lot of different places, and probably rightfully so. The Julius Randle fit's been wonky. That's true. The floor spacing's not great. That's true. Dante DiVincenzo took a long time to get going, and he's picked it up greatly lately. All of that's true. But really, one of the big reasons why the Timberwolves have not been the team that we kind of expected is because Anthony Edwards has not come anywhere close to taking that leap that we were waiting for. He's been much closer to a top 20 player, not even top 10, not even top 15, a top 20 player than he's been a top 5 player. And we think about where a lot of conversation about him was trending last year. And yeah, man. Yeah. It's been disappointing. We were quite literally having Michael Jordan conversations. And I love Anthony Edwards. I thought that was batshit crazy that we were having talks like that in year of our Lord. 2024. But the Timberwolves lose last night to the Boston Celtics. Anthony Edwards has 15 points, 5 of 16, only 6 assists, 2 turnovers. And what really was the story was his post-game reaction. His post-game reaction was concerning, especially, again, for somebody who really does love Anthony Edwards and wants to see him be great. Here was his reaction following the game.
You took one shot but had 5 assists and you guys scored 34 points. Is that kind of the way forward for this right now? Like to just get up as much as possible?
Hell no. I mean, well, I'm sorry. Is that a cussing word?
No. Say how good.
I don't know, man. That was a good brand of basketball, but it's not how I want to play, of course. I mean, I'm only 23. I don't want to just be passing the ball all night. You feel me? Yeah, at all. But the way that they guarded me, I think I have to. So
I was gonna say, how hard is it to just stay engaged?
Super hard. I mean, because I'm wired to score the ball.
So no, that's not what you want to hear. I mean, just full stop. That's not what you want to hear. I get where he's coming from, though. I think that some of this is maybe getting blown out of proportion a tiny bit. But it's not really what you want to hear, especially considering, dude, you're going to get doubled all the fucking time. Okay? Like, this is going to be your reality. This is going to be your reality moving forward. Audio sucks. My audio? I still believe in it. Yeah, but look, here's the reality. You're going to get double teamed a bunch. Oh, the Twitter audio. I'm breaking up? Okay, I don't believe you. You're going to get double teamed all the time. This is going to be your reality. All right? That's just the truth. The playoffs is going to be really bad. You have to figure out a way to get past this. And this has been the problem for Anthony Edwards. Playmaking wise, he's not where he has to be a top 5 player. Anybody who watches him could tell you this, okay? Anybody who watches him could tell you this. That all of this, he's a top 5 player. He's going to be a top 5 player. He's going to be a top 5 player. It's all been dependent on his playmaking, and this is interesting right here. I just pulled this up right now. I was looking at this. First and foremost, shout out to NBA RAPM. It's a legitimately really good website. But among players who have a 30% on ball percentage or more, so basically your lead guards, your big on ball players, Anthony Edwards, amongst all those guys, has the lowest potential assists per 100 possessions across all of these guys. Dead last. 10 potential assists per 100 points. That's awful. How the fuck do you average less than Trey Mann and Kevin Porter Jr.? Is he even top 10 this year? No. Anthony Edwards is not a top 10 player this year. That's what's disappointing. So I said he's closer to top 20 than he is top 5. That's like when we talk about, I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at I don't even know what some of this shit is. What is BP turnover? BP? What does BP mean, we think? Bad pass would be my guess. SGA is the bare minimum for playmaking to be a superstar, and it's not even close. And it's not even close. I don't like. Nobody's asking him to be butt plug. That could be butt plug. Nobody's asking him to be Luka Doncic. And I was perusing through, some Timberwolves fan sites. There's subreddit last night. I was just trying to see a vibe. I was trying to see the reaction to this comment from Anthony Edwards. And I saw people were like, yeah, he's got to turn into like Luka. Luka's great at passing out double teams. He's got to become a guy like that. Dude, that doesn't just fucking happen. Like, that doesn't happen. Luka came into the league as like a generational playmaking prospect. That was the thing. Like, the scoring for Luka, I wouldn't say it was always a hypothetical, but the scoring for Luka, that wasn't as sure to translate. But what we did know is like, hey, this guy's a great floor general. Like, going to be a great playmaker. Bare minimum. Anthony Edwards, like, that doesn't just develop. You don't just go from being like, honestly, for a lead guard and a lead ball handler, if we're just being straight up honest, a bad playmaker, like, yeah, he'll have some passes here and there. Every fucking guard does. Like you're in the NBA. Every guard's a good playmaker, obviously. But in comparison to other lead guards and especially other stars, it's bad. And when you could just double team them and be like, hey, Jaden McDaniels, go crazy, dude. Jaden McDaniels, go crazy. Julius Randle, fumble the pass, take a couple jab steps. Our defense has rotated. Go crazy. We've recovered. Go crazy. Rudy Gobert, take that post hook. Take it. We dare you. Like, when you could start doing that, and it really doesn't help that, like, Dante DiVincenzo has been really slow to start the season, and he's been much better lately. And I know his spacing is so bad. I get that. There is a spacing issue there. All of these fucking guys deal with spacing issues, man. All of these guys see double teams. All of them do. Every single one of them does. You understand? I can't, look, I've had the honor of watching Luka Doncic play basketball for my favorite team. And here's a good comparison, because the 10 potential assists and stuff like that might not be fair because across league guards, he doesn't have the ball as much, Anthony Edwards. But Luka this year, just to show the difference, Luka this year, 35% on ball percentage. He's averaging nearly 17.5 potential assists per 100 possessions. That's 7 more than Anthony Edwards. I mean, dude, it's bad. Wolves don't have shooters like other teams. Look, we talk about the Timberwolves being a contending team, a team that needs to compete for a championship. In order for that to happen, Anthony Edwards has to be around the top 5 player in the sport. That's just historically, that's how it's been. You have to have a guy like that. That's just what they have to have it, specifically them, especially them, right? This isn't cutting it. He's going to get double teamed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter who's on the floor for them. Honestly, it doesn't. Like Cat obviously opened up a lot of things because you do have to double team Cat. Cat's always been one of the most double team players in the league because he's 7 foot. He's very physical. He's got a great post game. So once he drives, you got to send a lot of attention to that. Once he starts to post up, you got to send a lot of attention to that. He's a great 3-point shooter. Defenses are really, they're really aware of where Cat is on the court at all times. That obviously helped out Anthony Edwards. You got to get it out the fucking mud. You want to be a champion? You want to be a contending team? You want to be a top 5 player? You got to get it out the fucking mud. You got to play 4-on-3 basketball. You got to trust your teammates. You got to get the ball into the middle of the floor. You got to swing the ball around. That's just what has to happen, okay? That's just what has to happen. That's just the reality. Also, looking being 6'8" helps a lot. Just seeing over the defense. Ant just isn't going to grow taller, develop generational basketball IQ / passing. I mean, you saw times in that series last year as well. I mean, game 2, the Timberwolves had that game. Anthony Edwards made a horrific turnover late in that game, picked up his dribble in the middle of the floor, had nowhere to go, threw the pass out of bounds. He's not a great playmaker, man. He just isn't. There's bare minimum stuff required. Gobert and Randall suck, though, slightly. I really can't. I can't let him off the hook that easily because I've seen Luka Doncic, and I know I'm bringing up Luka quite a bit. But again, understand what we're talking about here. We're talking about a top 5 player in the league. We're talking about being the best player on a team that wants to contend for a championship. It's a different level. It's a different level that you're entering in these conversations. I mean, I watched Luka get out the mud with Reggie Bullock, Dorian Finney-Smith, a young Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie, Dwight Powell. Like, you think any of those guys are drawing a ton of attention from defenses? They're not. Luka was like historically one of the most double-teamed blitz trap players in the league last year. He led the league in scoring. Damn near averaged a 34-point triple-double. Like, I'm sorry. Should have been the fucking MVP. Like, I'm sorry. But yeah, Reggie Bullock could not dribble the basketball. Okay? Donovan Mitchell's been better than him. Well, Donovan Mitchell's been great and is probably like a little criminally underrated at this point. Do you want to know my news about the Mavericks?